Huh. All the Fatui left in Natlan are probably the captain's subordinates. That basically makes them followers of one of Natlan's heroes. Still... What are you guys doing here?
Following orders. If you have a problem, take it up with our employer.
Hey, what's with the attitude? Can the Fatui even work for a private
This is Grudok. I hired him to be my bodyguard in Natlan. As you can see, he's not the sociable type. I'm sorry. My original plan was to hire someone from the local tribes, but a priest recommended. I was told they were capable fighters and had the time to spare, so they fit the bill.
So that's what happened.
Precisely! Montluçon, at your service. I work in the publication business. And you two...
Oh, you know us?
A golden-haired traveler with a floating companion. There's no mistake. Your exploits in Fontaine have all the makings of a best-selling series. I'd be a failure of a book merchant.
Wow, we're really famous at this point, Traveler.
It's truly my lucky day. I know this is sudden, but I was actually looking for you two. You see, I have a favor to ask.
Ai, Cacau, bate. Entrando na granja bananinha, que doideira, tá?
So, you chased us all the way to Natlan?
You'll be generously rewarded, I promise.
Well, at least he got straight to the point. Should we hear what he did?
No outro vídeo eu não expliquei os detalhes sobre essa placa aí, galera. Por que tem que ter essa placa aí na traseira do ônibus, indicando aí, ó, o veículo longo, comprimento 23 metros. Então veja bem, galera, ó, tá vendo lá na frente, ó? Tem lá o caminhão que está rebocando aí o ônibus, está guinchando o ônibus. Então, esse comprimento, essa distância do caminhão mais o ônibus totaliza esses 23 metros. E essa informação é obrigatória ter na traseira do ônibus. Por quê? Porque quem está viajando ali atrás, galera, do ônibus, quem está ali no seu automóvel, no seu veículo ali atrás, mas ele precisa ser informado que se ele for fazer ultrapassagem, ele vai ter que ultrapassar os 23 metros e não apenas o ônibus. Então ele não consegue voltar na frente do ônibus, entre o caminhão e o ônibus, porque os dois estão acoplados. Então essa distância, esse comprimento precisa ser informado aí, é obrigatório. Igual nos caminhões compridos, né, bitrem, os caminhões aí que são bem compridos, tem também essa placa lá na traseira, beleza?
And there's tribal history involved, so you should hear it from an expert. Ali, if you could.
Nesta quarta-feira,
I don't often have an eager audience for this kind of thing. Nice to meet you. The name's Allier. I'm a researcher from the Fontaine. Unlike most researchers, I have a keen interest in ancient ruins. That's why I was invited to join Monsieur Montluçon's team. Have you heard of the legend of the great shaman Citlali? Yes. According to local records, she was a color mystic who lived over 200 years ago, and the most adept in her tribe at using that particular technique. Out of all of her exploits, according to legend, the battle was triggered by an abyss invasion, one of the most brutal in Natlan's history, even from a greater historical perspective. Amazingly, the color was extraordinary, illusory, and trap all the enemies inside. This allowed her allies to launch a counterattack and ultimately secure victory.
Anyway, that's the gist of it. We don't want to take up too much of your time. That story is the reason I came to Natlan. I often publish books about the history of other nations. When I heard this story for the first time, I wanted to include it in my next collection, but historical records about Natlan aren't very detailed. We haven't been able to determine where the battle took place, or find any definitive evidence that it occurred at all. See, that's why I'm here. The Masters of the Nightwind are said to have a tradition of recording past events, so I wanted to consult their records. But I was refused access to the obsidian altar.
According to my research, their scrolls are considered sacred relics, not to mention the scrolls we did get to review actually contain a huge amount of—
We've been over this, Alier. There's no need to waste time on those scrolls when we—
Citlali.
Exactly. You're well aware, I'm sure, that Citlali has been— If she agrees to be my consultant, then no—
Oh, that's what you want.
So, what do you say? I'll quadruple the pay if it helps sweeten the deal.
Well, it's not that we don't want to help you. Oh, right. The duty the chief gave us has a lot to do with wheat sealing. Who knows? The Battle of Seven Colors might— All right, we'll help you convince Citlali. Just let us do the talk.
Of course.
Take me up! Let's ride!
So, this is where the great shaman lives? A bit—
For someone like Citlali, it actually makes a lot of sense.
Is this graffiti her work too? I wonder if it's a cultural practice. If I could just copy it down.
We're here for a reason, Alier. As agreed, you two can do the talking, and we'll wait for you here.
Okay, we'll go knock on the door. Hopefully she's not hungover. Citlali? Are you there? We need your help with something! Oh, no response. Maybe she's not home. Oh, Granny Citlali? Are you home?
Hey, kid! If you're here to challenge me, book an appointment first.
Looks like we came at a bad time.
Are you still there? Just come in. We can talk inside.
Well, at least we didn't get turned away. So this is where Citlali lives.
I, didn't have time to fully clean up the place. Besides, in light novels, people who keep everything neat and tidy are always too boring to be the protagonists. Also, I'm not a hermit. I'm just above superficial rules of societal etiquette.
She sure does care a lot about what we think of.
Oh, and that spell I used to transfer my senses to you, you're not still, experiencing the side effects, are you? It's my duty as a great shaman to check that kind of thing.
Oh, you mean when we could hear your thoughts? Nope. It's been so long, we don't have to worry about that anymore, right?
Then why do I hear the traveler's thoughts in my head?
What?
I can still hear you, you know. Don't bother. I'll find a way to fix it. It was just a simple spell. I use it on you, and now it's on the fritz. Forget it. Just tell me why you're here.
Well, someone asked us to ask you to be their consultant. They have questions about the history.
So they asked the hero of Natland to put in a good word? Sounds like they know I don't usually trouble myself with other—
The pay is really good.
Doesn't matter. I'm busy.
She sure doesn't look busy. I knew this wouldn't get us anywhere.
From you?
Yeah, we were given a sacred duty to help your tribe weave a special scroll.
Huh?
We were surprised too. After all, we have no idea how to weave a scroll like that. But with Chef Biram's help, we were able to make some progress. We still haven't succeeded, but we learned that the historical event those men want to ask about also involves color. If you help them, you might end up helping us too. She's giving us that face again.
I can't decide whether this twist is completely out of the blue.
Does that mean you won't help us?
I need to—
Then there's still hope.
Hey! What's the holdup? Just give us an answer already.
You agreed to let us do the talking! Citlali!
Stand down, Grudok. As your employer, if I tell you to wait, then you wait.
Understood.
You're the great shaman who's been alive for centuries? But you're so... Apologies for the disturbance. Grudok is a recent hire, so difficult to restrain sometimes.
You're lucky you didn't force Citlali's hand.
Well, since you're here, how about a discussion?
Do you have any idea who I am? Did you think Granny Eatsley would be fooled by your little performance? I have no intention of speaking to you. Your recent hire— Pull a trick like that again, and I'll make your lives a living horror novel.
Whoa.
Traveler, we have a discussion to finish.
You live up to your name, Granny Itztli. I apologize for the offense. I'm just surprised the Battle of Seven Colors didn't pique your interest.
You're investigating the Battle of Seven Colors?
Ah, the Traveler didn't get to that part? Yes, I thought the Traveler could help me convince you. But, if I'm not mistaken, you have a personal interest in this matter, don't you? I heard that the great shaman Huitzilin was a friend of yours. You two must have been close. If I can resolve the controversy and prove the battle took place, I'll include it in my next collection. Then, with your support, your friend's heroic—
If this is really about that duty, then— fine. I'll help you.
I'm honored.
Save it. I agreed to help the Traveler, not you. You'll just have to leech what you can.
Well, at least she agreed to help.
Who are you calling heartless?
Not a problem. I always planned to work with the Traveler. So, did you directly experience any events of the battle? Do you have any idea where it took place? Can you think of any relics we could use to prove it?
Talk at me, why don't you? Fine. No, no, and no. I did live during the same era as her, but that doesn't mean we experienced. You decide the angle of your investigation, and I'll provide answers.
All right. Even if you didn't witness the battle yourself, you still lived through that era. Alier, you had an idea about where to start, yes?
Oh, well, my plan was to consult the members of the tribe in charge of recording history.
Then, Traveler, what do you say?
You don't seem super invested in this whole thing, Citlali.
The Battle of Seven Colors is something I've only ever...
But how? Weren't you alive when it happened?
I wasn't there when it took place, and she never told me about it. That's how.
But Molo-san said the two of you were close friends. The battle was legendary. Why wouldn't Huitzilin tell you about it?
Close friends? More like arch rivals. Something Montlusan would know if he actually did his research. Did you see the graffiti outside my house? That's not my doing. All students from Huitzilin's School of Shamanism must pass an extremely difficult trial before graduation, defeating me in battle. Those graffiti drawings are how they challenge me. Of course, none of them ever succeeded. So, after Huitzilin's death, her students had no choice but to modify the requirement. Instead of defeating me, as my rival, it makes perfect sense that she kept it from me.
Oh, that makes sense.
Anyway, all of that is secondary. Like I said, I'm only here to help you fulfill your duty. Don't misunderstand. This duty is important for my tribe, too. Excuse you? I fail to see what housekeeping has to do with my duty as a shaman. Why is it that you're the one whose thoughts are exposed, but I'm still the...
Excuse me, Great Shaman, but we have a situation over here. We could really use your help.
Okay.
Of course the Battle of Seven Colors happened. The woven scroll proves it. Huitzilin used a mysterious color to construct a maze and trap the enemies inside.
That's just your interpretation. There's more than one way to understand that scroll. Besides, constructing a maze out of color is ridiculous.
Huitzilin was one of the most powerful shamans of her time. She definitely could have pulled it off.
That's the biggest problem. She had students. Why not pass it down? A technique that powerful? And no shaman since has ever...
Her students are keeping it a secret, of course. If you knew a technique like that, you'd be a fool to show it to just anyone.
Oh, I didn't mean to cause an argument. I just wanted to ask,
Of course it took place. Why would you need to prove it?
You'll have to excuse him. Some people in our tribe insist on clinging to outdated views of history. I'd give up now if I were you. It only gets more ridiculous from here.
Please don't fight.
Wow, so the battle really is controversial.
Am I the outdated one?
These arguments are precisely why I hesitate to include this story in my collection. Neither side was able to offer anything useful.
Huitzilin was a passionate teacher. We were opposites in that sense. But still, if the technique is powerful enough to single-handedly stop an invasion, we should check with this...
But As far as I know, most of the shamans from her school...
Right. The obsidian altar is off limits to you. But, if I go...
Is there a problem?
Most of Wheatsealing's students are respected priests in the tribe. But that means they had to go through me. Those who hold the position now are the ones who lasted long enough before I wiped the floor with them. If I show up without warning, they'll run for dear life. That's not gonna get us any answers.
Yeah, Paimon can see it now.
Hey, don't jump to conclusions. That was just a metaphor. Only you have the guts to joke like that with me, Traveler. Fine, I said I'd help, so I'll help. But...
Alright, the rest of you can wait for us here.
We appreciate the help.
Oh, are you in the middle of a ceremony?
Granny Eatsley?
What is she doing here?
Did some coward not show up after challenging her to a fight?
Or is she here to officially take over the tribe?
Whoa, it's like they really do see her as some kind of tyrant.
No matter what, we'll defend our dignity as priests to the end.
Ugh, you talk a big game for someone who lost to me the most out of the entire priesthood.
What?
All I want is to ask some questions.
So, you're here to interrogate us?
Someone didn't sit pretty for their beating? Is that it? You want their name, don't you?
We should just run!
Yeah, with the hero of Natlan here, Granny Eatsley will be on her best behavior.
Sure.
Oh, it's the Traveler and her companion. That does make me feel better. How can we help you?
We wanted to ask about the technique you inherited from Wheatsealing.
Huh. So you can eradicate our school once and for all?
Disciples of our school have challenged her year after year, just as our master instructed. Sounds like she's finally had enough.
Well, you're not wrong.
If we want to protect our legacy, one of us needs to run!
Not this again. Just how much did you traumatize them, Citlali?
Hey! You can't just say whatever you want just because it's in your head. I'm Granny Eatsley. A mere mention of my name and kids burst into tears. Love and respect. What? You know what? Forget about your duty.
Sorry to disappoint, but if you're here to question whether we're qualified to inherit our master's legacy, we're not going down without a fight.
We're not getting anywhere. Which...
Huh? Oh.
Elder Tlapo! Oh, we must have disturbed your meditation.
Did Elder Tlapo just issue a declaration?
From what I can tell, in a single word, the message was... friend?
Is Elder Talapo telling us to treat Granny Eatsley as a friend?
That's not possible, is it?
Oh, you forget yourselves, my friends. You are esteemed priests of our tribe. Where are your manners?
But Chief!
I didn't expect to see you here, great shaman. My sincere apologies for the lack of hospitality.
Well, I wasn't exactly planning to come to this crowded place. So you can save the pleasantries, Chief. I'd rather get this over with.
Understood. Now, as successors of Huitzilin, I understand your friction with Granny Eatsley. However, Elder Talapo's declarations have always showed us the correct path. You would do well to respect his counsel. So, mind your manners and allow Granny Eatsley to ask her questions.
Whew! Good thing Elder Talapo and Chief Biram are on our side.